Hello, Melanin Monarchy citizens. This is your Monarch Monique here at another live entertainment event. This time I am here at Harrah's. I always say Harrah's, but I am here at Harrah's to see David Foster and Chris Botti. Now this is going to be a first for me, you guys. This is a first, and I'm actually pretty excited. I think that the bar is high because on the way here in the elevator and outside, I've heard a lot of their fans talk about them and talk about how wonderful they are. I even heard that David Foster has a habit of having surprise guests. He does like a Prince, a Stevie Wonder, whatever. He has like surprise guests in his show. So my expectation for this show is high. Now, for all of you who may not be familiar with Dave Foster and Chris Botti, they've been around for decades. They have been doing this for decades. David Foster started, I believe, as a session musician, and he's done a lot of albums. I just couldn't list all of Dave Foster's discography on all of the people that he's worked with, but he's worked with all the tops, going from the 70s till now. He's been with all the tops, being a musician, being a collaborator with the top. So I'm going to be interested to hear him play the songs that he's actually created with other artists, whether they're well known or whether they're not well known. So I'm interested in that. Now, Chris Botti, the reason why Chris Botti is important to me is because years ago, Chris Botti serenaded Sting's wife during one of like Sting's birthday things or whatever, and I thought it was just the cutest thing. If you guys go on YouTube, you'll probably be able to see that. And so one of the reasons why I'm excited about seeing Chris Botti is because his playing is just so smooth, so sexy, so smooth. So I'm here, I'm excited to be here at Harrah's to see the show, and I'm gonna give you guys all of the tidbits, not only about the show, but also about Harrah's and how they treat their guests. All right, you guys, Toodle Pit.
Ready? Boys, I don't think that's a hit. That's fair enough. So we gave it to Chicago.
You
albums with him, and this was that song. Goes like this: 2, 3.
We were young and we knew in our eyes we're alive. Deep inside we knew our love was true. And for a while we paid no mind to the past. We knew love would last every night. Something right would invite us to begin the day. We used to be happy, we're sad. Something happened along the way, and yesterday was all we had. After the love is gone. Mr. Radio, wanted Sister Oreo, did I tell you everything is fine? In my mind.
You guys, so that was David Foster and Chris Botti, and I went in. This is my first time actually seeing them, and as many times as Chris Botti has actually been in the San Diego area, it just seems like the timing wasn't right and I wasn't able to see Chris Botti. But here's David Foster. Now, for those of you guys who don't know who David Foster is, he's worked with all of the greats. I mean, it seems like he's worked with everybody. And I think I'm more impressed with the fact that he worked with Cheryl Lynn. He was one of the co-writers for To Be Real. And I'm like, what? So he's been doing things from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. He's been doing a lot. Now, this show was a show. So they had comedy, they had bits, they had, things that they were saying. And his wife was there. So David Foster's wife, his current wife, his wife was there and she was singing. She shared the stage with them. And I thought it was cool that he talked about, being nominated, not just, for Grammys, but being nominated for Oscars and never having won an Oscar. And he kind of talked about the fact that when he lost out to Berlin from Top Gun, he did Karate Kid with Peter Cetera. I'm like, oh my gosh, Peter Cetera, and so I'm gonna show you a little bit of that here. So there it was, the song, one of my favorite soundtrack songs was from Karate Kid Part 2. So I enjoyed that he did that. But here's the thing, I kind of think sometimes, should I separate my reviews when I have multiple? I learned that from the Stylistics and the Spinners. It was a very long review, it's a very long wrap up, and I don't want to, maybe I should split it in half. I'm not gonna do that for this one right now. I'm just gonna tell you, is that when you're looking at legends, as David Foster is, you definitely want to come because you want to hear the stories. You want to hear the stories behind it. Now, David Foster and Chris Botti also had some new people on, like this gentleman here. I thought this guy was amazing. I'm going to look out for him. I'm going to research his name and look out for him. And so, but I'm going to just say is that I enjoyed the stories. I enjoyed the stories behind the legend. Now, as a person who is not a jazz person, I have to warn you, if you're not a jazz person, you're still gonna have a great time. It's still gonna be a blast anytime you do jazz. But you have to be prepared for jam sessions, And I love the fact that Chris Botti allowed his musicians to have their time and to have their opportunity. That is very important when you're on stage, that you allow everybody that's on stage for you, because it's a team effort. So I appreciate that a lot. Again, this was a show for greats. This is Chris Botti, who's a great jazz artist, and this is David Foster, who's been writing song hit after hit after hit after hit after hit. So it's worth it. It's worth it, and I love the fact that they Michael Bublé wasn't here, and a lot of people thought that Michael Bublé was going to show up, but he wasn't here. I think they wanted him to, but he didn't. Anyway, so his wife Catherine, who was very gracious, very kind. She was very funny. I wish that I would have heard some of her own music instead of, I don't think it seemed like they sung other people's music. I wish she would have sung some of her own music, because to me she just seemed like a Celine Dion part 2. She just sounded really like that. And so I wanted to see her as an individual, and not every time she opened her mouth I'm thinking of Celine Dion. And that was just your monarch there. But again, it was a wonderful show. I enjoyed it, and so Harars, I believe, did a great job with their guest, and that was Dave Foster and Chris Botti. All right, you guys. Oh yeah, and also I have to say for Harars is that their spotlight people need to be shot. Whoever was the director tonight and their spotlight people, I have to give venues, my assessment, and I have to tell venues how they can prepare so they're not caught off guard. And one of the questions they always want to know is, how many people are going to be on stage? This is for everybody. How many people are going to be on stage? What is the skin tone of everybody, especially when you're dealing with lighting? Because when you have darker skinned people, see, I'm not like in the best light, but when you have darker skinned people, they have to be lit a certain way. And so Harars missed it on that one. So that's for another day, you guys. All right, you guys, I will see you at the next live concert event. Good bit.